Hi, I'm Natalie Ledwell, and today I'm going to share with you how to use mindfulness to activate the law of attraction. So let me start by asking you a question. For you, what's the difference between living and just existing? Now, I like to ask this question to our Facebook community because many of us go through our days on autopilot without actually fully living. Like, how many times have you got to the end of a day and went, wow, that went so fast, but then you get to the end of the week and you think the same thing, or you get to the end of a month or a year and you just realize that there's all this time has gone past, but you haven't really been in it, you haven't really been mindful of it, you haven't really been enjoying it to its fullest capacity. And the thing is, a simple act of thinking about this question actually puts you into a state of mindfulness and awareness. Okay, so we often get caught up in simply existing. So think about how busy we get. You know, we've got emails and messages and phone calls and running the kids to school and all these distractions when it comes to social media and everything else. So our time is flying past without us really being consciously aware about what's going on. Now, it can be easy to forget to experience life in its purest form and without judgment and really enjoying the deliciousness of every moment that we have. So when was the last time that you sat outside and simply contemplated your surroundings? Have you ever been in a place where you've been waiting in line and rather than getting into your phone, you actually had your phone down, was actually aware of everything that was going on around you? You know, when's the time you've really enjoyed the colours or appreciated the colours around you or felt the sunshine on your face or smelt flowers, you know, or feel your clothes against your skin? You know, can you remember being fully aware and in a full state of mindfulness? And when was the last time you did that? So if that's something that you feel has been missing, here are 4 practices that you can do to bring your life into a more mindful practice and something where you can really, like I said, enjoy the juiciness of every single moment. So the first step is practice being curious. Now, one of the essential attitudes of mindfulness is a beginner's mind, which means having an attitude of openness and eagerness and a lack of preconceptions when you're learning something new or doing something for the 100th time would be just a completely different experience if we did it from a beginner's world. So having a beginner's mind is if you're engaging in something for the very first time. So for example, one of the mindfulness exercises that I do when I'm getting curious is that I love to open up conversations with people in elevators. I've just moved into a new building in Los Angeles and I have a lot of very friendly people in my building. But whenever I'm starting a conversation with someone, I'm always asking a ton of questions because I naturally am curious, but I'm really interested in learning something else about humans, about the human race, about who we are, learning who my neighbours are. So, you know, this could be something simple as making sure, like I have a rule, if I'm in an elevator with someone, I will always strike up a conversation. There will always be something that I say, and then start asking questions and being curious. You know, maybe it could be something like just taking a different route to work. Maybe it could be trying a different coffee. Maybe when you're in the line at Starbucks, you start up a conversation with someone in front of you or behind you that's also in line. Most of the time, they're on their phones as well. But if you make a point of not being on your phone and being aware of the moment, then you can really open up some curiosity. You can open up some curiosity conversations. You could also do things like, you know, trying different, you know, meals. I know that when I order out Thai food, I always get red duck curry. It's my favorite meal. And so I always, every once in a while, to get curious about, oh, I wonder what this would taste like. You know, and get out of my comfort zone to make sure that I'm doing something that's really going to stretch me a little bit. You know, when we pay attention to the things around us, we start to get curious about it, about the people and the things around us, we'll start to see beauty that we never noticed before. Okay, step number 2 is to understand that all things come and go. Always. Change is constant. And the more comfortable we can get with that, the easier life becomes. And it's actually a very key aspect when it comes to mindful living. So let's say, example, that you want to listen to a sound. You hear the sound come, you hear it disappear. When we look outside, you can see how time and the seasons change. You know, we notice how children are young and then they get older. We understand that both emotions, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, come and go as a natural part of life. There's ebbs and flows, there's good and bad. There's things that always come in and come out, and that is just the nature of life. Like I said, the more comfortable we can get with that change, the easier we are in flow. And everything is in the process of becoming something else, including ourselves. So by practicing mindfulness, we detach ourselves from all of these things that we think have to be a certain way. We expect them to show up a certain way. We think that when we make a plan, it has to be done in a certain way. But when we do that, we are completely cutting ourselves off from the flow of the universe. So when we come to understand that change is a constant part of our life, it means that we open up to the amazing gifts that the universe has for us to help us get to where we need to go. And when you can really delight in the surprise of what the universe has in store for us, it makes life a really amazing trip. Now, number 3 is to practice the art of acceptance. So mindfulness isn't just about being happy all the time, but it's about acceptance in the moment. And whatever moment that we're in and whatever's going on, rather than resisting it or reacting to it, just accepting it for what it is. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, it is what it is. You know, we spend a lot of our day fighting in the present moment rather than accepting what it is. There are some things that we can control and there's many things that we can't. And when we can get to a place where we're the observer, when we're not getting emotionally pulled back and forth from all the things that are happening in our life, but we can step back and go, interesting. I can see what's going on here and see how this is all playing out. You know, our thoughts are often full of things like, you know, I like this and I don't like this, and we're judging things. But when we can just observe it and go, oh, this is what's happening now, you know, then we find that we're in a place of flow as well. You know, we miss out on experiencing the present moment many times because we spend our energy constantly judging what's going on around us. And with mindfulness, what we do is we accept what is present because that's what is. And you can acknowledge what you're feeling and allow it also to be what it is as well. So feel the emotion, let it pass through. Apparently 90 seconds is all it takes for us to physically feel an emotion and for us to pass through our body. So when you have that choice, then what happens is that it makes you enjoy every moment. You know, one of the ways that I practice this is when I'm coming in through customs. I have a green card, but for some reason I always get a cross on my my little piece of paper, and I always have to go to the big, huge line when I go through customs. And sometimes I can be in that line between an hour and 2 hours with hundreds of other people. So that's when I practice my mindfulness. I mean, talk about, you're not even allowed to have a phone when you're in the customs line. So it really forces me to really be breathing, checking in with myself, looking at the people around me. Often I'll start up a conversation with someone who's next to me. A lot of the times there's someone who's coming to visit the US, and so we can talk about things that they can do, and really making sure that I'm in the moment and enjoying the hour or 2 hours. I have to be in the line anyway. So it's completely changing my experience, and it's compressing time as well, so it helps the time go faster. You know, so remember, we have a choice of how we respond to what's happening in the moment. So you can choose to feel good and look at the positive, or you can choose to feel bad and extend time and make it a lot longer than it really has to be. And then the last thing is, I want you to realize that you are not your thoughts. I have an amazing book to recommend here. It's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And he talks about when he was writing that book that he realized that he wasn't his thoughts. He goes, well, if I'm not my thoughts, then who am I? And he realized he was the observer that recognized the thoughts or could see the thoughts. So when we practice mindfulness, we learn that our thoughts are not our reality. They're just passing through. They're not who we are. They're just a result of the stimulus that's around us, and we are really the person that's observing the thoughts. So, you know, mindful people consistently monitor and observe what's going on in their minds, and they pay attention to their thoughts as they arise, but they don't hold on to them. Instead of getting caught up with them, you know, and having, you know, this story going around in our head that seems to be such a big part of our personality or part of our identity, we realize that it's just thoughts that are connected to a stimulus. And we watch them as they come in, and we watch them as they fade away. So anytime you watch your thoughts, you're actually being mindful. Or when you're aware of your thoughts, you're being mindful. So start listening to the voice in your head as often as you can, especially if it's repetitive, and especially if it's holding you back. And then as soon as you hear this, you'll go, wait a minute, that's not me, that's just my thoughts. and it helps you to move through that. And number 5 is that perception is your reality. You get to choose. Anything that happens, the only meaning it has is the meaning that you gave it. So your mind believes what it's told and what you tell it. So if you believe for the longest time that the sky is green, then the sky is green for you. I mean, yes, we all agree that the sky is maybe blue, but maybe the blue that we see is different. Who knows? You know, if you focus on what you're being grateful for and then living a life that you feel that you're really in alignment with, then more of that's going to show up. So if you get to choose your perception, which then creates your reality, then make sure you're choosing something in alignment with who you choose to be and where you want to go and the person that you want to become. So before I go, I'd like to ask you, do you have a different mindfulness practice that has helped you to manifest more peace and happiness in your life? If you do, please share it here with the community so they may also benefit from that as well. So my name is Natalie Ledwell, and stay tuned for new releases every Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.